Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. So after we, oh sorry, I think. Yeah, after we describe Surah Jinn, so tonight, inshallah, we're going to talk about Surah that I think everybody familiar, and I think many of you might be, you know it by heart, right? The Surah Yasin, right? The heart of the Quran, right? Let me read first the Surah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون. So before we describe ayah by ayah, would like just to share with you a few hadiths concerning this ayah. It said, "Inna likulli shay'in qalban." In everything they have hearts. Wa qalbul Quran Yasin, and the heart of the Quran is Yasin. Man qara'aha, whoever recites Surah Yasin, look like he read Quran 10 times. Allah. So you read Surah Yasin, you reward like you read Quran 10 times. Allah. Also, Iqra'u Yasin ala mautakum. Read Yasin when you see somebody going to die. He's in Sakaratul Maut. I remember one of the great scholars in Indonesia, famous with name Hamka. And he visited his brother in hospital. And then he heard in other room, like people was mourning, was hysteria, crying. So then he came, he said, "Where are you going?" My dad going to die. I said, "Go down. You have to have your dad." How? He said, "Okay, read Surah Yasin with us." So Hamka read with them Surah Yasin. And you can see his heart was very jumping before. Now it's calm down, come down. Yeah. So Rasulullah said, "It's helping people going to die." So very important that you as a family, had to know how to deal when your dad, your mom, your friend going to die, not panic. Right? This is the moment that they need help. Like somebody was swimming, like was drowning, and need somebody to pick up his hand. Not make it more difficult for them. Yeah. Another beneficent, man qara Yasin, whoever recites Surah Yasin at night, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all his sin on that night. Right? Whoever recites Surah Yasin in the morning, Allah will make all his affair easy until the evening. And whoever recites Yasin in the evening, Allah will make all his affairs, his business, easy until the next morning. Allah. Another benefit said, "Inna fil Quran la surah." There is surah in Quran, tashfa liqa'iriha. will give intercession, shafa'ah, for the reciter. The day that you need Allah, shafa'ah. Right? وَيُغْفَرْ, and then Allah will forgive the mustami'ah, for the listener. You drive the car, and you're listening. Yasin wal Qur'anil Hakim. Right? Allah forgive your sin. This is from the, what you call, the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? And to show us the virtue of this surah. Right? So inshallah also the surah have deep meaning. We'll come to that inshallah. Yeah. Mubashir?
Assalamu alaikum. The surah explains some of the basic beliefs of Islam, especially the belief in life after death and the akhir, the truth of the Qur'an, and the truth of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah's messengers were sent to other people, the response of those to whom the prophets were sent, and the result of their denial. Allah's signs in nature to remind about the day of resurrection, the scenes of the day of resurrection, reminders about death and the day of judgment.
So this is what contained in this surah. Talk about the Quran and the messenger, right? That before that Allah sent another messenger, and Allah will talk about many signs, the sun, the moon, the galaxies, right? Allah will talk about the day of judgment, where people were surprised they're going to resurrect again, right? So that's the main topic we're going to discuss in Surah Yasin. Let me start, inshallah. Yasin. Bashir?
God says an oath by these two letters and by the Quran. This combination endorses the view we have expressed elsewhere about the mention of separate letters at the beginning of many surahs and the relation between mentioning these letters and the Quran.
So from the beginning, it was a surprise. You know, Muhammad is ummi. You know, ummi means illiterate. You couldn't read and write. Like baby just born. You know, if you, for example, baby born and you saw him a letter, W, for example, you didn't know nothing. So now Muhammad was illiterate. He was ummi. And how we know to pronounce Yasin? Oh, alif lam mim, right? Alif lam mim. Why they said alam, right? So that means this is like Allah was going to make the Quraysh shock, right? How did Muhammad learn? So the conclusion is to be somebody teach him, but who's his teacher? That's number one. Number two, Arab a custom how to start give speak, right? If they give speak in the morning, said wa sobaha, like good morning. In the evening, wa masa'a. And now Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, suddenly he stood up. Yes, so imagine somebody stood up and said, say NCC. I said, what? What is NCC? Right? Yeah. So sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to invite people to pay attention. And because of Noon, Alif Lam Mim, for the Quraysh on the time said, what's he going to do, man? You know, because it's not used to, right? Also, the word Yasin mean Allah going to challenge the Quraysh. They said, look, this Quran, you know, is contain 28 Arabic alphabets from Alif to Ya. You know it, right? So can you produce the Quran that contains from the same huruf? You know, it's not like the huruf you don't know, you know it. Also, yes, some ulama said, from the hadith said, Allah give me name, my name is Muhammad, Ahmad, Toha, Yasin, Muzammil, Mudathir, and Abdullah. Right? So therefore, even somebody have different opinion, right? So sometimes we call, right? Salatullah, salamullah, then ala Yasin Habibillah. Yasin Habibillah. Another opinion said Yasin is Allah's names. Yeah? But it's stronger to be Muhammad name because you can see after that, innaka lamin al-mursalin. Yasin, and you are among the messengers. Yeah. Wal Qur'anil Hakim, right? By the wise Quran. What does it mean?
As he swears by the Qur'an, God Almighty describes it as being full of wisdom. In fact, a literal translation should be by the wise Qur'an. Wisdom is a quality of rational beings, which suggests that the oath is phrased in this way to impart to the Qur'an the qualities of life, having a purpose and a will, which are essential for a wise being.
This is Quranic style. When Allah going to talk about something very important, He start by swearing. When people swear, swear people to convince them, I didn't do it, for example. Swear to convince them that what I'm going to say is very important. Right? And swear has to have connection with what we're going to say. For example, wal asri, by the time. Right? And then innal insana lafi khus. Indeed, men are in loss. Why lost? Because of he wasting the time. So have connection. Right? So Allah start by saying wal Qur'an. Remember that if he said alif, fatah, and kasra mean swearing. He said wal Qur'anu is not swearing. Right? He said wallahu, not swearing. Wallahi is swearing. Now wal asri wal layli. This is the Quranic style. So by the Quran which full of wisdom. Right? Allah Hakim. And the word Hakim in Arabic have three meanings. Number one is hikmah. Hikmah means wisdom. This Quran, the book full of wisdom. Right? If you know Arabic language a little bit, the word hikmah originally is like the tarikuda, the range. Yeah? The horse need to have the rope. This in Arabic is hikmah. What for? To control the horse. Imagine you ride the horse without that rope. The horse cannot speak. For example, you see the valley, Juran. Hey, stop, you must stop. So the same. People sometimes have knowledge, but no hikmah. Right? Instead, bring people sympathy or bring people to Islam, they run away from Islam. Right? So when you look at the life of Muhammad Sallallahu, his life is full of hikmah. Hikmah in his word, in his action. Like somebody came to Rasulullah Sallallahu, Ya Muhammad, I would like to become Muslim. What I have to do? Say shahada. He took shahada in life. Say that's it. So after a week he said, Ya Rasulullah, only shahada. If you want, pray. That, yeah. And then gradually. Imagine somebody come to us, said, sir, I want to become Muslim. What do I have to do? Okay, write it down. Don't eat pork, you have to wear hijab. You have to do this, right? This also considered the hikmah. Yeah. Hikmah also, when you talk with somebody, you have to look at his condition, his situation, right? Sometimes hikmah also the word that affect you. That's also hikmah. Something that benefit you. Oh man, his lecture, his word is changing my what you call my mind, right? Change my life. That's hikmah, right? Hikmah could become from anyone, right? Muslim, non-Muslim, right? So that's one, hikmah. وَمَنْ يُؤْتِ الْحِكْمَةَ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. Whoever Allah give wisdom, that means Allah give a lot of things. Right? I think the best example, you know, you know the story, right? When a Bedouin came to masjid and urinated, right? Everybody going to beat him up. Rasulullah said, no, no, no. Do not interrupt him. Use wisdom. Let him finish it. And after finish, Rasulullah approached him. He said, you know, I'm sorry, this is not restroom. He didn't know the etiquette, right? And he said, who are you? He said, I am the messenger of God. And then he made dua, Allah, please send your message to me and to Muhammad. Don't send to anybody. Rasul was laughing. He said, why you narrow Allah mercy? Right? No, if Rasulullah didn't use hikmah, people beat him up when he was 3 years. What happened? You know, the urine will be everywhere because he ran. And so it's the danger for him when you hold it when you are urinating. Yeah, that's also part of the hikmah. So Quran, the book full of hikmah, also hikmah means a verdict, hukum, right? So Quran contains of hukum, a verdict. The verdict that what you call to guide you how to live in this life, right? For example, Allah SWT give verdict that you have to pray 5 times a day, you have to give zakat, you have to go to Hajj, you have to be kind to your parent, you know, don't do this and do this. This is a verdict, right? And every time Allah SWT in the Quran asks to do something, it should be there is hikmah in it. Something you understand, something not. Another meaning of hakim means muhkam. You know, when you know, make a cake, for example, food, it was perfect, everything. You know, the taste, the sweet, the salt is everything. This Arabic called muhkam. When you tie something perfectly, muhkam, you write essay, you know, it's very good. You know, the word, the letter, the sentence is also muhkam. So Quran is the book that muhkam, precisely. Everything, the word, the letter, the sentence, right? Give example, for example, the word if in Arabic, ida and in, ida and in. But the Quran never mess up when to put in and ida. Ida mean if, but will happen. In mean if, but something happen, something not. If I said ida jaa iman, that means I'm sure he's coming. In jaa, if he comes, that means what? Possible comes a business, right? In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah SWT said, إِذَا جَاءَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتِ. If the death, right, come to one of you. And then he said, in taraka, and if he left behind the wealth. So why for that he said either, for inheritance, they said what? If. Because death, for sure, right? But somebody die could be what? Have money or homeless, you know, thing. That's one example. And also, for example, the Quran never mess up. You know, always all hearing, all seeing. It never said Sami'un Basir, Sami here, Basir. Never said Basirun Sami. Always like that. Because you know, when you have baby, what's the first organ that have function? The eyes or the ear? The ear. Baby just born, you give the toys, you know nothing. But you make noise, you wake up. Right? Or the word Allah SWT precisely put, when something you put jinn first, sometimes ins first. Jinn and, you know, jinn and then human being. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ. We created not jinn and men. Why? Because jinn was created first, and then men. But then one ayah, Allah put ins first. Ya ma'sharul insi wal jinni, all the assembly of men and jinn. If you can produce like unto Quran, please produce it. Right? Why is it put men first? Because men IQ, intellect is higher than jinn. But when Allah SWT challenged them, if you can go to the heaven, Allah put first, jinn. Ya ma'asrul jinni wal jinni in istata'tum an tanfudu. Because jinn more capable to go up. This is just example how the Quran is precisely. So, while Quran Hakim, that means Quran, the book, full of hikmah. Also, Quran give a verdict, and Quran is what? Tiny. What you call it? Tight. Or you call it? Precisely. Right? Perfect. Innaka laminal mursalin. Indeed, you, O Muhammad, are from among the messengers.
The way this verse is phrased imparts a feeling that sending messengers is a well-recognized fact, with many past cases. This is not what is being proved here. Instead, what is being emphasized is that Muhammad ﷺ is one of these messengers.
So, innaka mean, indeed, no doubt, ka, you, Muhammad, is one of the messengers. Why say they said it should be what? Inna. He is one of the messengers. Why say innaka? You. You know the Quraysh what used to call Muhammad what? Crazy, liar. Who call him? Everybody almost. Right? The children, Abu Jahl, Abu Lahab, everybody. Almost entire Makkah now call Muhammad what? Crazy or liar. What's going to happen if somebody call you crazy? I mean, your cousin call crazy, your friends say crazy. What happened to you? Maybe they lie. Because not everybody say what? I'm crazy. I'm still big. Man, everybody say. Right? Like I give example last time. In Indonesia, they have Indian and Arab. So sometimes they have joke about them. So the Indian made a plan. This Arab every Monday, he used to sell his cow to the market, special market, like auction or for cow. So I have three people, one here, maybe after half mile here. So the first one, when the Arab said, they called Tuan. Tuan, sir, how much you going to sell that lamb? What is it? Lamb, right? But it's what? A cow. The Arab said, you crazy, man? This is not lamb, man, it's cow. So he let go. And then he walked again. After half mile, somebody said, hey, man, why you need to bring it to the market? I can buy lamb with good price. So what happened with him now? The first one said lamb, right? Second one, lamb. But it's a cow. He started down. You crazy, man. You blind? This is. And then the third one, hey, man, I give a good price for that lamb. So what happened now when the Arab said, man, it's to be my asshole. Come three people, right? Then he started with the lamb price. So now, Muhammad, as human being, so Allah said, look, don't care about what they say. I am God. Innaka you. According to me, you are not crazy, not liar. You are one of the messengers. Something maybe, your son in the class, people call him this and this, and they cry. And the father said, don't worry, Dad. I know you. Right? So call him down. innaka laminal mursalin. Why they said innaka Rasulullah? But he said, you are one of the messengers. So to give him confidence, but don't worry, you are not new. There is messenger before you also. And they're dealing with the same. They call you the same. So you are not new. Right? Right? You know, sometimes Allah start with Qur'an al-Hakim, right? By the Quran full of wisdom, a wise Quran. I mentioned last time the example. If we have neighbor, this neighbor with you about 40 years together. You love him and he love you and us. Be best friend. So then your neighbor disappeared maybe for 1 month. And then he came back and knocked your door. They said, look, I'm sorry, I didn't see you for 1 month because I was in the mountain. And then the angel came to me, and I am now not only your friend, but I'm a prophet. And you have to follow me. What will be your reaction? So what did you eat last night? Right? And that's what Quraysh was saying. Welcome. But Quraysh unable to deny one thing. What's that? His language. Yasin wal Qur'anil Hakim innaka laminal mursalin aw ikra bismi rabbikal ladzi khalaq. Because Quraysh know Muhammad for 40 years and he know how he talk. You know, husband, wife, you know the language, right? You know, my wife, you know my language. And suddenly I memorized Shakespeare. And then I say something. My wife said, oh, right? So Quraysh could not deny it. Yeah, but this is not Muhammad word. Right? So I know. Yeah. So innaka laminal mursalin. So this is the reason Allah swear. The Quran, by the Quran, that means full of wisdom, you Muhammad. To show the important the word you Muhammad among the messengers. Yeah. Ala siratim mustaqim, on straight path.
This explains the nature of the message after the truth about the messenger has been stated. By nature, this message is straightforward. It is as straight as the edge of a sword. It admits no crookedness, deviation, or prejudice. It states the truth in the simplest and most direct way that needs the least amount of explanation and interpretation.
So, and it's not only you are the messengers, but you are on the straight path. Right? This is the most difficult. Because you know when you be friend with somebody for 40 years, you know, you're going to see what? Many things. Positive, negative. Right? But they saw Muhammad, even before become prophet, he always on the side path. Right? Ala siratil mustaqim. Even the Quraysh, after they almost give up, right? And a lot of people accepting Islam. So they offer Muhammad, right? Remember that? Muhammad, you know, he sent one of Sahaba by name, one of the Quraysh by name Walid. Muhammad, look, the Quraysh, you know, asked me to talk to you. You know, what is the goal that what you want to accomplish by your new religion? You want to be leader? We'll make you leader. You want to find the beautiful wife? We'll find the pretty one. You want wealth? Make you the rich one. Or you have something with your mind, you're crazy, a gene, something, you are possessed, you bring the best doctor to cure you. right? So they offered. Muhammad said, "Are you finished?" They said, "Yes." They said, "Look, even if they put the sun on my right, the moon on my left, I will not give up. Either I die, I continue, right?" This. Why sun and moon? What does it mean? It means day and night. It means I will not stop. Day and night will continue. What is Sirat Mustaqim? That's the meaning. So therefore, in Surah Hud, it said the ayah that made his hair gray. This ayah. Fastaqim kama umirta wa man taba ma'ak. Muhammad, be upright as a command. Because to believe, and to learn about something is not very difficult. But difficult one, to be always consistent. Right? Muhammad SAW, he was alone. That means the challenge is from his own family. Some people sometimes give up. Last time I remember that told a story, and it's fiction, but they asked frog from around the world to come, and then they have pool in the top is food, right? So whoever reached the pool, the top, is the winner. But the pool was reaching with slipper, yeah. So a lot of people, just fall down. Many people fall down, and some died, right? So now the other frog outside the one watching said, "Man, don't wait, man. Look at how many people died. Right? Why you only one frog just keep going? Hey man, that's too far. If you fall down, you are finished." Right? He continued. He got the prize. And he went down. And then of course he's the winner, no? All the journalists came. They interview him. How you can stay on Sirat al-Mustaqim? And but he's just be quiet. And then the other frog said, he's deaf. So sometimes you have to be deaf. When you do something, and people always say something. The only way, if you know it is right, just continue. Right? Because some people sometimes they give up because too much people talk about, sit. Yeah. على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم. This is a revelation of the exalted in might, the merciful.
We note how God identifies himself in such situations so that people will understand the true nature of what has been revealed to them. God is the Almighty who does what he pleases, yet he is merciful to his servants. Whatever he does to them is born out of his mercy.
If you read from the beginning, Yasin, right? And by the wise Qur'an, you are the messenger, right? And you are on the straight path. But here, not clear yet. Who said that Muhammad messenger and who bring the Quran, right? This is the answer. Tanzil al-Aziz al-Rahim. And very interesting, the way Allah put it in Arabic, the word Tanzil, it means to show like somebody have authority. Revelation. So this person, when you read this, don't repeat. No, Tanzil al-Aziz al-Rahim, right? That Quran, full of wisdom, the one who said you are messenger, is come from what? Nuzulnya Tanzil, like this. Right? Remember that the Quraysh was, who did teach Muhammad? How you know Yasin, Alif Lam Mim, holy? So this is the answer. Hey, come from the top. Allah. And then Allah mentioned two quality here, to Allah name, Al-Aziz. What is Aziz? Aziz, the one who have authority and respected. Authority what? Respected. Because sometimes somebody have authority but not respected. Like who? Police. Or judge something. They have authority. You know something, for example, the judge give verdict. You are wrong, you have to pay. And get out. Right? So he came out, what happened? He obey him. Oh, it's not fair. You know, this judge is stupid judge. You not respect, right? But sometimes you respect no authority. Like you find old lady, right? You respect this old lady, maybe your grandfather, but he didn't have authority. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have authority and then what? Respected. So they call what? The word is Aziz. Right? Aziz, that means nobody can reach him. Either his status or his power. Called Aziz. Right? So therefore why when you see something that like, you know, the stone called Aziz, that means you cannot find another stone like this in Lanka. What's that? Rare. Huh? Rare. Rare, yeah. One of these. So therefore, the Arab, when they write letter, said, Ya Akhi al-Aziz, my mighty brother. That means only you. The Arab also when extol his wife, Anti Azizati. That means you are only mine, something like that. Right? So Aziz, Allah is Aziz, but also what? Merciful. Some people sometimes have authority, have power, respected, but what? Kejam, cruel. Right? No, Allah Rahim. So therefore I said, Allah have 99 names, but can conclude in these two things. Aziz and Rahim. Where Allah put Rahim? Because Allah sent this book to the messenger who have the same quality. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. Because Muhammad is merciful, so merciful. He said that if this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us, you know, to understand Allah's mercy, something, you know, difficult in reality, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give an example. Who is two example in dunya, you know, but just by a look at them, you know, you will find, oh man, mother and the prophet. The mother and the prophet. You know, when you look at our mother, oh, right? But he said, Allah more mercy than these two. A Bedouin king, Rasulullah, who going to judge me in their judgment? Said Allah, Allahu Akbar, alhamdulillah. Imam Ali was asked him, their judgment, if you have choice, let your mother judge you or Allah. Which one? They said Allah. Right? So Allah have more mercy. Right? Rahim. لِتُنذِرَ قَوْمًا مَا أُنذِرَ آبَاؤُهُمْ فَهُمْ غَافِلُونَ. That you may warn a nation whose forefathers were not one, so they are unaware.
The purpose of this revelation is to warn people and give them God's message. To be unaware is the worst form of corruption. Unawareness makes the heart unable to respond or interact. It sees the pointers to the truth, yet it is unable to respond, unable to feel their presence. Therefore, a warning is the best thing that can be given to such people who remain unaware, having gone for generations without anyone to alert them to the truth.
لِتُنذِرَ, to one. Remember, the prophet, all prophets have two functions, Bashirun and Nadir, to give glad tidings and warning. Okay. Number one, when somebody give us warning, what it means? There is something dangerous, right? For example, a tsunami is coming or earthquake will coming, so they have to warn people. You know, sometimes they in TV and your cell phone, right? And then what? The warning. But warning have to come from whom? Authority, right? Somebody in charge. And warning have to be in the form of like really, really serious, right? If somebody come to you, hey Imam, a tsunami is coming. The flood is coming. What are you going to do? Get out, man. Right? So here, why, people said, why the Quran describe about Jahannam so severe, man? You know, Allah's merciful. That's because Allah will. Because you want somebody who, when you want somebody, that means what you care about him, right? Right. For example, there is a room there, and somebody going to go to that room. Inside the room, what was scorpion or a snake? This your friend. What's it? Man, shh, don't go there. But you don't care what happened. Oh man, the ice cream there. Right? So when Allah describe how ugly, how severe the Jahannam, because you don't want anyone to go there. Right? And then he said, Litundiro kauman, and to warn a nation. Why a nation? He's talking about Quraysh. So Allah SWT here would like Allah put down Quraysh. He said, who are you, man? You know, the Quraysh or the Arab in that area, uncivilized, no civilization. What do you have? Nothing. Only statue. Because the neighbors on the time, they have high civilization. They have palace, they have Greek philosophy, they have soldiers. So it means all is very strong. What's that? So I said, Allah SWT, who are you, man? You deny Muhammad, you are arrogant. You are nation that, nobody, Roman and Persian, they like to occupy many countries. So before, for example, you see the Iran, the Syria is under the Persian, right? And then you see Egypt and all this under the Roman, right? Why? Because in Egypt you find a lot of things, But why people they don't want to occupy Makkah? Why? Nothing. What for you go there? Nothing in Makkah, because no oil yet on the time. No oil yet. Yeah. So look, don't be arrogant. Right? Said, Ma undira abahum also, the reason you are in this bed because there's no money. Between Muhammad, between Isa and Muhammad, 500 years, there's no prophet in between. Right? Yeah. So no, you have to be proud. Right? Because Allah sent a prophet to you. Is among you. You know him for 40 years. Right? But fahum ghafilun. But they are heedless, unaware. That means they are unaware about Allah, unaware about what is going to happen to them, right? And this is one of the sickness that also we sometimes affected. We call al-ghafla, heedless, right? Wala takun minal ghafilin. What's the cause of heedless something? Because you put something else to be your priority. When people too much think about dunya, about the wealth, about the power, and you forget what? Everything. Right? Yeah. لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون.
Already the word, decree, has come into effect upon most of them, so they do not believe. The surah then speaks of the fate of these people and the judgment that is certain to befall them, considering that God knows all there is in their hearts and minds and all that they did in the past or will do in the future. Judgment has been passed, as God knows that they will not believe. Hence, this is the fate of the majority of them, because they will not see divine guidance for what it is, nor will they interact with it.
Yeah. So لَقَدْ حَقَّ الْقَوْلُ. It means the Quraysh, he know, the word that Muhammad, give to them is haq, is the truth. Right? Ala Akhtari, most of them, but still didn't believe. Number one, how Muhammad able to make this kind of sentence? Right? How? Number two, many times they challenge Muhammad. One time they put a lizard, Muhammad, a prophet? They said, yeah. Can you talk to the lizard? Right? So okay. Said, Ya Dob, man ana. Oh, lizard, who am I? And the lizards are talking, not only one word. He said, Labbaika wa sa'adik. Innaka Rasulullah. Laqad addaita risal. Wa addaita al-amana. Said, Labbaika wa sa'adik. That's how, when in Arabic, to respond with respect. And you are the prophet. You send the message, all this, like give lecture. Do they believe though? One day they came again. Hey, Muhammad, are you a prophet? He said, yeah. Can you split the moon? So Allah inspired Muhammad, just pointed like this, pointed. Split. Iqtarabatis sa'atu wan shaqqal qamar. It's the Quran. Quran called Surah Qamar. Split. One in the east, one in the west. And people saw the reality. Right? Abu Jahl worried. Hey, I thought you remember that? He's magician, Sahir. So there's nothing, man. It's just only our eyes. In hadha illa sihrun yu'sar. Right? But some of the Quraysh, wait a minute. People only can magic someone if they are there. That means only people in Makkah see the split of the moon. People outside will not see it. Okay? Just wait. So the next day, the caravan came. Caravan came and the Quraysh came. Hey, did you see something strange last night? Oh man, we were split track race in the desert like this. And everybody was panic because we thought the judgment happened. What happened? The moon split. Right? Yeah. Do you believe? No. I said, لَقَدْ حَقَّ الْقَوْلُ. Only the word has come into effect. Right? This is the miracle of Quran, everything. Right? But he didn't believe. Right? So that's the behavior of the Quraysh. So what lesson we learn today?
Surah Yasin is the 36th surah in the Quran, which covers topics that include Tawheed, the message of the messengers, Allah's magnificent creation, along with the reality of hellfire and paradise.
Yeah. So basically, Allah referred was Tawheed, but also I forgot to mention, there is two things, like message and messengers. You know what I mean? It's too important. Why he said, you are one of my messengers. Because sometimes the message is correct. The message is beautiful. But the messengers, not good. Sometimes maybe you see a politician, they say something, right? But people, there's no credibility because his action, even it's a good word, right? They're not credible. So credibility is not there. For example, now I talk to you about medicine. Even maybe I was reading and studying, people said, oh, who are you, Muhammad Joban? No credibility, right? And the Quraysh, he know the messenger very well. he never lie, he never cheat, right? And how he still deny? Yeah.
So what we are. Most of the people today already have a fixed mindset about Islam and Muslims. Unfortunately, it is a very negative mindset that they have. Show the beauty of this religion through your actions. Be kind and courteous. Go out of your way to help them. Speak gently and with confidence.
Yeah, one of the lesson that, because one of the problem that Muslim now unable to show the beauty of Quran through their action. Like one day an American came to the masjid and somebody handed him Quran and he left. After 3 months he came back, he brought the Quran. I said, man, this beautiful book. Do you have another Quran? I said, no, only one Quran. No, no, no. The Quran that I see. That means what? The Muslim are practicing Quran. Because before, the Sahaba, when they went to the village, in 3 months, most people become Muslim. Why? Because it become Quranic walking. Yeah.
As intelligence increases, speech decreases.
Decreases. Right? You know, when I was in Egypt, there's somebody, so I have friend, Egyptian, he studied medicine. He just his second year, he talk a lot about medicine. Oh, then when he become doctor, he didn't talk a lot. He have no small knowledge. You like to talk, right? Imam Shafi, when he become a scholar, said I become ignorant again, right? So that means people talk a lot mean what? No intelligence, right?
Prophet ﷺ said, none of you has truly believed until I become more beloved to him than his father, his children, and all
Mankind, right? So loving Muhammad Sallallahu is very important. Yeah. Even another hadith said, you have to love more even than yourself. Oh, because Umar came and said, I love you more than my family, my wealth, and everybody, except myself. Why not you not love me yet? Ya Rasulullah, Umar is honest. Then Umar left and is thinking, he said, I was in darkness and came Muhammad, give guidance, I applied. Right? And he came back, Muhammad, I know I love you more than myself. Wait a minute, love is heart, right? You can change heart this automatically. Imam Sharawi said, when Umar said that, he loved Muhammad intellectually, right? And then become automatically, right? Like, our fathers, when they marry, there is nothing like people know. They love one another, right? So they intellectually obey his father. Like somebody marry somebody, said, my mom want to marry her. So he intellectually first. He not love her yet. But then after that, what? Yeah.
But how do how do you love Prophet Muhammad? I mean, when you say that, oh, I love someone, it's because you experience his kindness or something.
Yeah.
You really experience, but then
Yeah.
Rasulullah is not here. I mean, we don't experience the kindness, but then we have, or not we have, then how do we love him?
That's very important. So therefore why we need to read his seerah, his story. So therefore why after Quran is Sunnah, right? And to fall in love with Muhammad, we have to know his akhlaq, his character, So therefore why it is mandatory and we have to teach our children about the love of Muhammad. Like, for example, many people, they love celebrities. They put their picture. Why? Because they know. Some people will love Ronaldo, love Messi. They put pictures, right? Why? Because he follow everything what he do, what he wear. So the same when somebody studying Muhammad Sirah, he fall in love. Like somebody was asking, I mentioned this yesterday. He said, why the Muslim love Muhammad so much? Look at when the one of the spokesmen of Moody's, Prime Minister of India, he started Muhammad. People reacted around the world. Right? So one of righteous man was asked, why people love Muhammad so much? You know what I said? Ask the mountain of Uhud and the palm tree. Remember, this is true story. Muhammad one day, he went to the mountain of Uhud with Abu Bakr, Umar and Usman. And the mountain of Uhud was shaken. Shaken because so happy. Muhammad stepped on it. So Umar was cooled down and said, hey, mountain, cool down. Because above you, a prophet, Siddiq, and two martyrs. Because Umar and Usman died as martyrs. Right? Trunk of that palm tree, you know, Rasulullah used to stay, what you call, give a khutbah on that trunk. So some Sahaba give suggestion. Rasulullah, you know, people, we need to see you so you can hear the voice. Can we make a minbar? You know, minbar, you have 3 steps. So as soon as Rasulullah stepped on the minbar, everybody was heard like a baby crying, ooh, baby crying. Who's crying? The trunk. And so I had to hold it. He said, if the trunk and the mountain have emotion, Muhammad, how about us human beings? Right? So a good question. So therefore, you know, when you read the story of Muhammad and then you listen to lecture about him, even when you pray different, we said, Assalamu alayka, peace upon you. Oh, I know you. Right?
You disobey him using his favors, yet disobedience does not make him withhold his favors. How can you love other than this generous God, or how could you disobey this compassionate Lord?
No, yeah. You know, many times people disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but Allah never stop to continue showering, right?
As you grow older, you realize more and more why the Prophet ﷺ said that this world is a prisoner for believers.
Listen, right? What is prisoner? Because in prison, it's not free as you like. As Muslim, we're not free what, you know, when you're going to eat. People, you know, a non-Muslim can eat whatever they want. Right? You cannot have relation with woman unless through marriage. So this is like prisoner, right? So one time in Egypt, there is a judge, and the judge was riding, you know, like a horse, like these are like sick horse, and then they have what do you call it?
Carriage.
Huh?
Horse carriage.
Horse carriage, yeah, carriage, and they have security, and then there's a non-Muslim on the corner, homeless. So the judge came out and said, "Hey, judge, your prophet said this world, this dunya, is prison for the believer, right? And Jannah for this believer. But look at, you look in Jannah, no? You have horse, no, maybe you ride Cadillac, Mercedes, right? And I'm homeless. You look at him and say, look, compared to Jannah, this is nothing. And you compare to hellfire, you are in Jannah. You are in Jannah, no? Yeah.
The first thing about which the people will be called to account out of their actions on the day of judgment is prayer, salah.
Very important, salah. Right? Yeah. So therefore, why is it Rasulullah we already said salah, salah. And salah is not easy. Right? Lot of parent complaining something. My son difficult to wake up for Fajr, didn't pray. Because salah has become like habit. You know, before when I was young, I pray because my father, I scared my father, but then become habit. So there's a teaching have to be in Arabic called become ada, habit. Like when my twin was studying in preschool, right? I was observing what they learn in this age. You know, mostly learn how to be disciplined, to be organized. Where you going to put the garbage, right? So many Americans they become custom with that. You know, there's traffic, the light off, whatever. They have first section here. Whatever in American. Or stop. I said, if you are in Bandung, Jakarta, whatever, no stop light. Everybody right. Because they are custom already to. And also because you people, you know, you go to the store and you're going to pay, right? The line up. Nobody will look, right? People just yeah. I don't know.
A believing man should not hate a believing woman, wife. If he dislikes one of her characteristics, he will be pleased with another.
Yeah. So no wife perfect, no husband perfect. Rasulullah said, if you find in your wife you dislike, look at the other positives. For example, if your wife talk a lot, for example, don't focus to that one. You know, one time Sheikh Yasir Fazaga told a story. Husband and wife, Kim, was fighting. Everybody talk about 1 hour. You know, the husband about his wife, the wife, 1 hour. Okay. I said, okay, cool down. All this negative about your wife, the other husband. Give me, you know, anything positive. You know, husband said, positive. Subhanallah. He can talk for 1 hour so easy about everything negative and try to find positive. Positive. Yeah, she cook good. His wife laughing. He said, only that? Yeah. Okay.
Life is tough. You just have to learn to take it day by day and have faith that in the end, everything is going to be okay. For indeed, with hardship will be ease.
Yeah, إنما أسيسر. So every time you have difficult, remember this ayah. Innamal usri yusra. You know, in Arabic it said, inna mean indeed, no doubt. For every difficulties, there is what? Relief. But sometimes you're not patient. You know, sometimes Allah SWT delay the relief. What for? To get the word. Because by delaying, you get to make dua continue. Dua is ibadah. By delaying, you be patient, right? Then patient also what? You get the word from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Right?
When there is money in your hand and not in your heart, it will not harm you even if it is a lot. And when it is in your heart, it will harm you even if there is none in your hand.
Right? When you put money in your heart, you pray, Allahu Akbar. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. How many my mind in Bang? So Muslim can be rich, but try to put the money only in the hand.
Fajr. The secret to a happy life is giving Allah the first part of your day, the first priority to every decision, and the first place.
Fajr. So the first sign, the first victory against Shaitan, and you are true Muslim, you know, some ulama said, Ibn Qayyim said, is you wake up for Fajr. That means if somebody didn't wake up Fajr, what? He lost. Shaitan will win, right? Subhanallah. So that's Surah Yasin, yeah. So inshallah we'll continue. This surah maybe take months, right? Very deep surah, yeah. And number one, you know, Yasin is the heart of the Quran. Number two, you know, try to read this Yasin, what you call at night, at the day, whatever that you, because a lot of benefit in it. But not only reading, you know, now Alhamdulillah, you know that we always seek ayah that we mastered today, right? Inshallah, we'll continue and we learn, inshallah, a lot, a lesson from this surah. Yeah, any question? Alhamdulillah, hamdan yuafi ni'amahu fi mazid ya Rabbana, lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi bi jalali wajhika wa adimi sultanik. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa qina adhaban nar. Allahumma aj'al al-Qur'ana rabi'a qulubina wa nura basarina wa jalabna wa kashfa hamina. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وصلى الله وسلم الحمد لله رب العالمين.